folks, Enrico with Play Unplugged. Once again, another vlog. It's December, the holiday season, and I'm sure all of you guys are getting excited, thinking about what to buy that other gamer in your life. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a loved one, and just getting ready for all those crazy things that go on in December, all those holidays and breaks, and hopefully you're as pumped up as I am. I definitely, this is one of those good times, especially if you're in a position like I am, where you have a little bit of I almost never have a break from Play Unplugged, but if you have a break where you can, spend a lot of time with your family or spend a lot of time with your friends, this could be the ideal time for you to get in some of that face-to-face tabletop gaming that we're so excited about at all times. That said, there are also some things coming up. One of which is to be on the lookout for on Play Unplugged, is we're going to be doing kind of our version of a holiday gift guide. We're doing things a little bit different at Play Unplugged because we're kind of different kind of people, and so for our gift guide, really what we're going to be doing is myself and the other Play Unplugged authors are going to be selecting an item, something that we think is really hot, exciting, new, that you guys might be interested in, and we're just gonna have a small paragraph about each. So there actually aren't going to be, it's not going to be this huge list of items for you to mill through. We're just going to pick our number one thing. If we could make a psychic link to that relative, friend, whoever, and just transplant our thoughts, perhaps a Gansfield effect, transplant our thoughts from our brains into the thoughts of those other people, those significant others, those loved ones, we would say, please buy us this for the holidays. And that's going to be kind of the concept behind that. So look, keep an eye out for that. That's going to be, I think, really fun, really exciting. That being said, there's some other things coming up. Number one, we have a new author on the site, Andrew Lotz, and hopefully you guys have had a chance to read his Yakuza review. Andrew is a professor of political science, and he is an excellent writer. He has to write all the time, and it really shows in his work. And so you can check out that review. It's very thorough. It's going to give you a good idea of what that game is all about. And there's going to be more articles coming from him as well as all of our Play Unplugged authors. That said, I'm going to be posting a piece soon on this book. This is my review copy of Heroes of the Feywild, another excellent D&D 4e supplement. And this one's kind of neat because of where its focus is on all things fairy, fey, and otherwise, including races and classes that would be appropriate for adventuring in Feywild. And it's connected, not surprisingly, to the current ongoing D&D encounters events that are going on at your local game stores. So this is one to check out, and I'll give you'll get a more thorough explanation of what it's all about. Looking on in an article on Play Unplugged. Other things that are coming up in January, in late January, there is going to be, and I'm sorry, these Play Unplugged vlogs are kind of stream of consciousness things. I don't actually write a script for them. It's not an interview, so these are a little bit less organized. It's just kind of my way of communicating to you guys, the Play Unplugged fans. So I don't remember the exact date. I'm sure I could punch it up here if I went and did a search in the middle of recording this, but that would be really boring to watch, so I'm not going to do that. That being said, in late January, there's going to be a Games Workshop, I guess, worldwide event to try to create the world's largest 40K game, and I don't know if this has been done before and they're just trying to top it or what the actual situation is. Regardless of which, Andrew Lotz, who I had just mentioned, is organizing that at one of our local game stores, Phantom of the Attic, and the theme of it now is turning around. Where we've been talking about this, myself, Andrew, and Scott, who are all customers there, and also in Scott's case, employee. We've been talking about different ways to make it more interesting and whatnot. And what it's come down to is that we're all going to be building these gigantic orc armies. And so Scott and Andrew already had a head start on me because they have orc armies. For me, this is going to be totally fresh. And so you can see if I pull these over, oh my gosh, orc sprues everywhere. I've got these orc sprues that I've been pulling apart and building boys and all this stuff. And because what I needed in my life was another gigantic army project. I can't be stopped. I can't be stopped. That being said, kind of an exciting thing to jump into, especially because it's not a huge amount of time between then and now. It's a little bit over a month. And when you're talking about an orc army, that's a lot of, that's a lot of boys to get done in a short period of time. So this should be, this should be a real challenge for me. And I wouldn't be surprised if my friends over at the Army Painter are going to be a big part of this, because I feel like some of those speed painting techniques, though, if I can sit and lavish detail on a model, that's my preferred method. That being said, for a project like this, an army project, my best bet is probably going to be to use some different painting techniques to get it done and get it on the table. Because in my opinion, the most important thing is to have a nice looking, cohesive total force on the table, than to have just a few really nicely painted models and then everything else not painted. That's just not the way I roll. So my goal is going to be to try to integrate both my slow step-by-step, modeled after Kevin Dallimore painting style, with this kind of speed painting, really refined speed painting technique that the Army Painters developed. And I'm going to try to meld those two into one cohesive force, and we'll see what, we're going to see what happens. We're going to dive in and see what happens. And Army Painter has actually a really exciting line of their war paint line is going to be being released soon, I believe in January as well. So maybe I'll even get to dip in there and use some of those new paints and colors. I've already had a pretty extensive experience with their sprays and their dips. So, and a lot of their tools actually too. As you can see, I've got my Army Painter plastic cutters right here, out for cutting cutting those orc bits off their sprues. So that's one project that's going on. So many things going on, tons of new board game releases, tons of miniature game releases. It would be impossible, I think, for any website to keep up with everything that's going on in gaming right now, but we're doing our best. Mike Eaton's been on top of it with, talking about this new premium deck series release, Graveborn, which is very popular. As generally speaking, all those premium decks are, not only do you get a nice deck, they're also, the packaging is so cool, and you get a lot. You get a lot for your money. All those foil cards, specialized deck box, and all those things. So they're just another thing. And for those people who want to build decks for Legacy or EDH or one of the more open formats where you can really pull from all those different sets, it's a really great investment. And I personally, EDH is one of my absolute favorite formats. It might be my favorite format for Magic, and so it's definitely one of those things where you want to dip in and get some of those cards. Privateer Press has been releasing a ton of stuff. The releases have been like a little bit, it seems like a little bit slow. That being said, though, they keep previewing these awesome kits, and we're also, that's another thing I like later in the future to look out for on Play Unplugged, is to look out for, I'm going to be doing a series. I want to do a kind of a Tale of Four Armies type of thing, where we get a couple of the authors to sit and build and play using the Journeyman League format, which I think is an unbelievably great format for new miniature players. And if you get a chance, all you have to do is go on Privateer Press and search for it, and it'll come up all those rules for the Journeyman League. So if you're looking for a way to get people into that miniature game, one of those things about the new year for everybody is, the New Year's resolution, and also this idea, this appeal that it's a fresh start. It's time to start something new. It's time to get excited about something new. What better way than that Journeyman League? So that's another thing, you guys can be looking at, especially now that Horde's Domination just got released, which is a sweet book. If I get a chance, we'll make sure to get a review up. But if for whatever reason we don't hit it, let it be known, paging through that book, a ton of cool stuff. And it's kind of that classic, one thing that Privateer Press has really mastered is that they've got these masterful army books with great fiction, great art, awesome hobby tips in the back. It's just one of those things they do really well. So that's another thing to check out. December's a pretty good month, man. Games Workshop with a lot of releases, Privateer Press with a lot of releases, Weird Miniatures with a lot of releases. So if you're a miniature gamer, it's kind of like a smorgasbord. A lot of indie companies putting out a lot of really cool releases too. And when I say that, I mean technically Privateer Press is, an independently owned company. So is Weird Miniatures, but I, those guys are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we kind of look at them as larger game entities. Especially Privateer Press, who has gotten to the point now where, a lot of people look at them as the closest rival to miniature game giant Games Workshop. It's crazy. Fantasy Flight, putting out a lot of new stuff. Pathfinder just put out this really cool box set to get you started and interested in their games. So there's just a ton of stuff, man. It's a great holiday season to be a gamer. It really is. The chances of you getting a good gift are pretty good right now. Pretty good right now. The hardest thing I think is going to be sifting through all that stuff to decide what is it that you really want. Cool Mini or not, they have Soda Pop Miniatures. Their Super Dungeon Explorer got released, and that's been heralded very. It's gotten a lot of really great press. So just a ton of stuff to look out for. Now, the one thing as a Play Unplugged fan to look out for is in the New Year's, we're going to be making a couple of different changes to the website. Most of the stuff is going to be, we're going to continue with our consistently, I think, very good reviews with solid information, strong journalism. You're going to see us at cons. We're going to be getting good interviews, and we're going to be informing and entertaining. And my commitment is to make it so that you guys get the best information you can to continue to enjoy whatever aspect of this tabletop hobby, this unplugged gaming hobby that we enjoy so much. That said, I do have to start exploring some different ways to monetize the website, and so you could be seeing more ads possibly. I've been playing with a lot of different ideas, so those are some things to look out for too. And if you have an opinion on that, go ahead. Feel free to if you have any kind of comment on content that you really want to see in the new year, or different, oh man, I really don't want to see ads. I mean, that might be completely unavoidable. I'm just telling you guys that now as fans, I don't want to disappoint. So that may be completely unavoidable. But if it's something you really don't want and you want me to explore a different route, I'm at least open to the suggestion. I can't make any promises because the most important thing is that we're generating an income and we're continuing to push forward. So I have to start exploring all these different options to make that happen, because we have a lot of good writers on staff, and they need to be paid. I need to be paid at some point, so we're going to continue. That's a route that we have to continue exploring and seeing where's that money going to come from? Is it going to come from advertising? Is it going to come from is it going to come from a subscription service? Is it going to come from So there's a lot of different options. I'm totally interested in your opinions. So if you're watching this on the website, it's real easy to give me your opinion. Look up there, okay? Where I'm pointing right now, somewhere up around that area, you're going to see the social media tools, all those different social media tools, Facebook, Twitter, following our RSS feed, etc., etc. Facebook or Twitter are great ways for you to comment on the content that's going on with Play Unplugged, and I will get either one of those. So feel free to shoot me a tweet, or to come on Facebook and like us, give us some comments. All that stuff helps. Those things help, and I do want to hear from you guys. That said, one other idea that we've been playing around with is this idea of doing, it's no surprise, I've been talking about with these sprues and everything else. I'm a huge fan of painting miniatures. I love that part of the hobby. It's probably the thing I like to do in the hobby the best, that and write. And so that being said, the painting segment perhaps, in our academy, a painting and hobby segment complete with video, I think might be something that really would be of interest and help to the fan base. Primarily focused on helping the beginners out, the beginner and intermediate painter, because if you're a Golden Demon painter, how much help do you really need? But who knows? I mean, you might be an expert at painting one miniature. You need help with some ideas to get like a big army up. So those are all the kind of things that we're exploring here at Play Unplugged, and that I'm going to continue to explore and try to refine to make sure you guys are getting the best in game news, getting the best in opinion articles, getting the best in interviews. And we're going to just try to keep continuing to grow Play Unplugged, and and the goal being to not just grow Play Unplugged, but to continue to grow the gaming community, the tabletop gaming community, which is what we're passionate about. So, till next time, I'll see you guys later. This is Enrico for Play Unplugged, signing out.